Speaking of wicked cute.
So for a few minutes.
See, this is one who said no initially. She said, okay, maybe, and the very next day she's like, no, that's one.
Wow.
I want to share with me a color. I like this color. Oh, that's your
That's
girl?
one of them, no.
Oh.
This is one of the ones who said yes, and then the next day said, oh, no.
She thought about it.
Hello and welcome to the All About You show with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about and some things you don't. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host,
Silky Smooth.
And Daydream.
and as always, family, we ask that you join in on the conversation, and we appreciate you joining us today. And we ask that you join in on the conversation where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today, we're going to talk about hustle-tainment. That's one of our unique words here. As you do know, the All About You show is an edutainment sort of show, which is a real word, which is a combination of education and entertainment. So hustle-tainment is basically somebody getting their hustle on, and it is part of the entertainment for you. But before we go there, I just want to make a comment today about, I guess today being the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the landing on the moon with Neil Armstrong.
Yes.
And
They've got big things going
Buzz
on in
Aldrin.
Houston.
And I don't know that I believe that. And I say that because there was something on YouTube where this
I saw it.
I could not find it. Buzz Aldrin told a little girl, we never went to the moon, did he not? Did he?
Yes, he did.
I could not find it on YouTube. I've seen it several times.
And I don't doubt it because it made national news.
They took it
When
off.
They talked about it. That's what made me aware of it. I looked, and yes, it was there.
They took it down.
So yeah, of course.
So what are your thoughts on, do you believe that I don't believe anything at this point. I have become not cynical, but it's just woke, I guess. You just realize things are not as they seem. But I just don't think that they did it. And they also said something about the flag waving supposedly on the moon, which is not supposed to be able to happen. And so I'm just curious if you believe that they actually
Right, because there's no gravity.
There's no gravity.
It's
So
not,
how
there's not
right.
supposed to wave. It's just supposed to
Be
stand
there, right.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
and I think all of this was precipitated by Russia being ahead of us with the cosmonauts and getting to the moon first.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to do something as the giant that we were at one point. So we created something in the studio.
Right, and it's not the first time we create things. We create a whole lot of things.
That's why I said the whole world is.
You know, of course,
our
I always
history,
believed
history,
it,
for instance.
and I was wondering if the Hidden Figures were invited to the big event. You know,
the black, and you know, it was because of, was it
because they would have been they were there. They
should
were
have,
part of it.
but that wasn't part of the movie, I don't think. So they never brought anything up like that. But they kept them hidden. That's why again hidden.
But it was in a movie about them going, so I'm trying to think.
I don't know if I don't know how much of that to believe, but again, I just don't think that I truly believe. But anyway, they said that an estimated 400,000 Americans assisted them in getting to the moon and back. 400,000 Americans?
How so?
I don't know.
Because they believed it and they spread the word.
Obviously, that's what it was.
That
had to be it. Because
That was the original social media.
Yeah, right.
That was the original social media.
The one giant leap for mankind. So you guys can.
It was non-electronic.
Yeah, celebrate that if you like. I just don't know that I believe it. Anyway, back to what we were talking about as far as hustle-tainment. And let me say this also. Usually when we present a show, there's always some sort of biblical attachment that can come from this. And I want to tie this one in with you. Okay, the first account of a woman getting paid in terms of favor for dancing erotically can be traced back to the Bible, where the daughter of the Jewish princess Herodias seductively performed the dance of the seven veils to please King Herod during his birthday celebration. Now Herod was so aroused and impressed that after the dance, he granted the daughter anything that she desired. Now, if you remember this story, the daughter went back and asked her mom, well, you know, King Herod is all, you know, wants to offer me something. And that's when the mother said, ask for the head of John the Baptist, right?
Yes.
So 14th century, we had the advent of the erotic dancer in the Middle East, which is belly dancing, and coins were tossed at the ladies for their dancing services. So it was actually in the 14th century where women got paid money for dancing, thrown at them, of course, but money, because the biblical aspect that I just gave you was more favor. He rewarded her by chopping off the head of.
He did something,
didn't give her any money.
And had she asked for something else, she would have gotten that.
Right.
Well, at that time, that was more valuable.
Yes.
So
right.
Yes, that's exactly what they did. So at any rate, This was the first time a woman was paid for erotic dancing, and during this time, erotic dancing was common in the temples of India as well as a ritualistic dance. And in the 18th century, sensuality and eroticism reigned supreme throughout Europe, compliments of the ladies' court who were paid to erotically entertain the men as they dined during celebrations and banquets. Now, fast forward to
First
modern...
Gentlemen's Club.
Okay, that's it. Fast forward to modern times, where dancing and burlesque shows in Britain became popular. And in the early roots of modern stripping first appeared in the late 1800s when a form of erotic dancing evolved into a dance known as striptease. Now, it was a gradual, soft, sensual way to undress in order to arouse. Now, as the name suggests, women slowly undressed themselves layer by layer to titillate and to tease in a blatantly sexually aggressive manner as they revealed more and more of their flesh, down to pasties and G-strings covering up their essentials. Now, men drooled, and as clothing hit the floor, and men began to shout, "Take it off, take it all off."
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
it came
That's where that
from.
came.
They still shut that.
Okay, let me say that's where it came from.
Take it
Now, in the
all off.
1900s, striptease still ruled and influenced the dancing. In 1920, a new twist was added, which was pole dancing. So pole dancing actually happened again in the 1920s. This originated at the height of the Depression. Let me tell you something. I don't care what happens. Sex, food, and entertainment will
Alcohol.
always...
And alcohol.
That's
Always.
entertainment.
Those
Always
are passions.
money.
That's always going to bring some money.
Right.
So at any rate, in the 50s, pole dancing graduated from tents to bars that catered to this type of entertainment. Now, stripping became a staple in the 1970s and the 1980s, and a lot of women, that was the increase of breast enlargements.
And the enhancement.
And the enhancement of breast,
Yes,
and that's
of
right,
course.
surgery. And so 1990 saw the beginning of the infamous lap dance. So that came about in the 1990s.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
And so, which they call contact dancing. So from ancient dancing and rituals to modern day entertainment for men, stripping has gone a long way, baby. It is now the professional hustle. And that's what we're going to talk about today, hustletainment. So let's talk about taking off those clothes.
I have
Yes.
a question though. When did men come into the stripping thing? Because you know you've got them, and I'm wondering
I've got some
at
male
what
dancers,
point
but you're
does the
so
male
boring.
come in?
Well, you
I have more fun. I have more
see,
fun at a
women-
gentleman's club than I do for a club for ladies.
Well, women weren't, they weren't in the position or entertained like
That
men
way.
have been entertained.
So
Not at
it-
all.
so
I
men
think it
came
was a
much,
ladder.
much
It's
later.
probably a ladder thing because we're like, wait, y'all,
We need something
yeah,
too.
y'all got us doing
Not
this.
to
Probably
mention during that
y'all
time,
need to give us
what
something.
woman would have wanted to admit that she was going to go see a guy take his clothes off? She probably would have gotten hanged or something.
Hey,
If she
Right.
had
or
been
rocked,
done that.
stoned to death.
Right.
Stoned to
Now,
death.
really quickly, thank you everyone who's been tuning in already. Give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. Thank you, Miranda, Chris, Adam, Ruben, Annabelle, Michael, Katrina, Rochelle. Thank you guys already
Give us
for
your
tuning in.
opinion.
Yes, absolutely. Give us your opinion. Especially if you're a former entertainer. Give us a call. You don't have to give your name. It can stay anonymous. We're not going to put all your business out there. We're not disrespectful that way. But we're interested to know what brought you into the industry. What made you stop? How long? Did you have a plan? I mean,
Are you passionate about it? What is it about it that you like? What is it that you don't like? I mean, because every career has its ups and downs.
Absolutely.
I don't care what it is.
But be clear, we're not here to bash
not at all.
any profession.
If it's your career, it's your
just
career.
a discussion. Because you may have young girls out there considering the possibility of going to dance.
And there
Yes.
are.
I'm sure there are quite a few.
Yeah.
So this is more of, all we bring is the information and it's a discussion. It's not to bash or degrade or demean or undermine or anything. It's just to find out what's going on because it is the new hustle.
It absolutely
Okay.
is. Yeah.
And so I just wonder.
I
what-
know a few dancers that taught me a few dance moves, though.
I knew you'd come up with this.
Of course, well, okay. I like to get to know people.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, this girl, I
Show
knew
us the
I
move.
knew a dancer, and her name was Lily. And Lily kind of showed me. She said, "Now, Silky, let me show you how to rock this thing just right." Because she had this dance move, where she would kind of get her hips kind of going.
Is
and
this
then-
with a pole or without?
But this was without a pole. But
Okay,
she
just
had-
stage dancing.
She was just stage dancing,
Okay.
but she really, brought home the dollars with it. She had this real Coke bottle with this real erotic shape and everything. She wore these beautiful outfits, and so she was just showing me how to rock her, the bottom side.
I think women already know instinctively how to
Yeah,
move.
but
Wait a
she-
minute. I'm
yeah.
just saying basically because I believe there's a little bit of striptease in all of us. And I think with all of our intimate relationships at some point
All
in
of our-
time, well, you know, marriage and relationships, and if
Yeah.
divorce, you still got
Oh yeah, you can't keep it boring.
Yeah, you gotta do things, you know. So
Right, gotta do things.
you gotta do things. So I'm just assuming that there is a little bit of a stripper in all women.
I would hope so.
I'm asking,
You know, because it should be fun.
What do they think?
I mean, you know, that should be fun. We've always been taught or been told, you know, it's something dirty, it's something shameful, you know, and then you want to know why there's partly why there's such a high rate of divorce. Okay, well, that's all included.
It is.
You know, it's completely included in it. You have to make each other happy. You have to satisfy each other. You have to entertain each other. I mean, how else do you go through the rest of your life with that same person?
All those years.
You know, because
without some
conversations only
excitement.
last for so long.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to find a way to keep it interesting. You don't read one book and then
You
just
know
have
it.
that one book to talk about for the rest of your life.
Right.
No, you continue, read more.
To become more
There's
advanced
something
and
different.
advanced.
Absolutely.
Hung out with Lily and some of the other dancing girls. They give you some good dance moves and things, and it was fun, you know.
Well, I would imagine it would
Yeah,
be.
Yeah, no, and it's not
fun,
just
yeah.
and it's not just the physical, you know. And if you listen to a lot of these ladies when they speak, they're very articulate, and obviously they should be, you know, because the gift of gab,
accentuates the dance.
Well,
your
you're selling.
physical
You're selling
look,
it.
yeah,
You're
absolutely,
in
will
sales.
only take you so
You're selling,
far.
right.
Now you have to keep it.
You have to be able to, and I've read somewhere that a lot of these people, young ladies, are in college, so they say. And I do believe that for
Yeah.
some of them, but I think for the bulk of them, they just like taking the damn clothes off.
Right.
So would that make you an exhibitionist at that point?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, we all like it to a certain point. We all, you know, we all have that level of
See,
freak.
I like striptease. That's more of the layering of taking clothes off. It's slow, it's gradual, it's sensual. But when you come out, I don't know how they do it. I've never been in a strip club. So
No, they don't come
There's
out.
different clubs.
So do they come out already new?
No,
Do they start
because
taking
it's supposed
stuff
to be
off?
a show, you know, and as the songs progress, you know, you might
But
have
what do they come out?
you might
in?
have 3 songs.
What do they come out
It depends
in?
on what location you're at, where you're at, what city you're at, what mood
Okay,
you're
so
in.
the
You know,
city,
you want to
yeah.
get real
Okay,
ratchet with it. You want to keep it classy. Do you want? I mean, it just depends. You have gentlemen's clubs, you have strip clubs, you have butt nakeds.
Yeah,
Okay,
Memphis
so-
has a lot of butt nakeds. So
So
they
you just
strip
come out,
down
you
to,
just come straight
they
out
don't come
butt
straight
naked.
out naked. They come out with the G-string and they'll have something on. But by the time
So
they
the
make that
pasties and the
stage, the
G-string.
only thing they have on are their designer
The
shoes.
shoes.
They're completely.
It's
You know, and
Well,
yeah,
laundry
if you want
shoes,
if you want to
yeah.
get ratchet with it, you can go to, you know, the shoe show out in Pasadena
Yeah.
around here, and
shoes only.
it's shoes only.
Are you
so that's why it's
kidding
called
me?
the shoe
Yeah.
shows.
The
Show
shoe
palace.
show.
Give me a ratchet.
I mean, you got to have some $1,000 shoes at that point, red bottoms, just if that's the case.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Well, who
I
wants
mean,
to
when
go
you have a
on-
place where it's BYOB, you got guys dragging in
Okay,
their
see,
coolers.
oh, that's
and
the
ice
ratchet
chests.
side. Oh, your mom
Come
knows.
on.
Yeah.
And they
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, they don't.
But you know, sex is wide open now, so I don't know that. Are they still making lots of money? Because, you know, again, I put some rules in
Competition
there.
is out
Well, I
there.
put some rules in my etiquette book for gentlemen's clubs because there are
course.
rules. Everything, guys, has an etiquette. I don't care if it's standing in the grocery line or whatever it is you're doing. Everything has a protocol and etiquette. And
Absolutely.
so, and I give some tips in there as far as going to these clubs. But some clubs accept women because you have more women now going because I guess you have women looking for women.
Right,
Well,
but
yes
the
and
clubs
no.
that I visited, you
I've never been
had
to
to
one.
go with a man. So I went with some guys. They invited us. They wanted us to go, and so what they would do is that when they would they would hand me some cash and say, "Here, Silky, why don't you go and put that
Oh, yeah,
money on
guys
the
did
schedule?" And I love to do that. And I went up and I give the ladies money, and they love it. And they would go like this, and they'd let me put it in your, you know, they
And
flirt
you
with
want
you.
to do that?
Absolutely, it was fun.
Well, you know, and
Yeah,
entertainers.
when I had my before I got married, I had a bachelorette, if you will, spinster, whatever you want to call it, at LeBaire's,
Mhm.
and that was my first time going, and it was my night, so
Right,
they put
right.
me up on stage, and he dancing and
It's-
grinding and
it's
stuff.
like fun.
I
I
was
wish I
excited. I
could
had a
have
couple
been there.
drinks, I was feeling pretty good.
Uh-huh.
But the bottom line is, I don't know that that's something that I don't think men want to go into LeBaire. So why
No,
do women
because
want to
they're
go
naked.
into the?
They're naked.
No, why do
Because
women want to go into the?
guys are
Because
different.
we
can do either way.
We're okay. We can compliment each other.
Guys, if y'all have a response for this, give us a call, 713-789-0096.
Guys, go.
Look at our engineer's face. What do you have to say? Get on
Guys
the
are going to see it as gay. They're not going to do that. They're not
Well,
going to do
women
that.
are gay, so what's the difference?
Well,
gay
because
is gay. And
Women are more
Women-
accepting
women
of each
are
other. We
different.
can compliment each other. I can see a very attractive
We
female
said that
out.
last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I can compliment her rear side of it. Hey, great job at your squats. Way to keep at it.
That
Whatever.
doesn't mean we're
You know,
gay.
obviously, I'm not
a
gonna say
dude's
those
not going
words.
to do that.
Well, I'll give.
Guys, we don't want to see it dudes. You know.
Okay,
They
so
don't
why
wanna
we?
see it.
Women, y'all like women.
I don't. I mean,
Because
We
we
don't
compare each
mind
other.
seeing each other
Oh, look what
naked.
she's got. I want to see what's
Everybody
going
knows
on.
women's body. You know what I'm saying?
That,
Everybody.
you know what? An artist, I read, if you've studied art, and I know most of us have studied art, and
Right.
you've been in college, you've studied art. Artists talk about the female form being the most beautiful
well, it's the
thing
most.
to
It's
paint.
the most
Okay, but
painted and
right, the most
artistic.
painted. But do you see them painting guys?
Well, what
No.
about Michelangelo? Didn't he have some?
The one.
Oh,
The one
okay,
statue,
but
that's what you're going to
It's
mention.
more than that one, but Michelangelo had some nude pictures of men. I mean, with one.
Oh,
one
but
thing
that's
working.
not as often as you see.
And think
the
about it.
women's
As
bodies.
females, we want to see what the other. I want to see what the appeal is. Okay, I want to know what I can learn. Something new, something different. Let me see. Oh, okay.
You have
They
all,
have this.
You
They
have
have
all
that.
the anatomical parts to do whatever.
We don't all
can
move
do.
the same way.
Well, now that's the difference is movement.
We
But
do
I
not
think
all move the
that's
same way. Men
movement-
do not all move the same way.
Movement it would be a contributing factor, I would say, but
That's part of the
But-
art, I guess.
I mean, moving is natural.
But
how
you're
you-
talking about just why we're there to look at another woman's naked body? Is that what you're saying? No, some of
It's
us
not
are
necessarily to see
not
the
very
naked
good.
body. It's to have a good time because the dancers are there. They're entertaining who's ever there. So if it's a waitress, if it's the bartender that they're sending up there, like, hey babe, do me a favor, go tip her for me, give her this for me. Don't let her know who it's from, or send this drink, whatever. You know,
Okay, I've never
you
been
go up
to
to the
that.
stage, you go up to wherever they're at. Hey, so and so, this is from the gentleman sitting wherever, or hey, I was told to give this to you. Oh, well, really, who is it? They don't want to say who it is, but they said this and this
They
and that.
like to remain
And
anonymous.
they're, and the girls have fun with it because it's another female, especially if you work there. That's
Now
less.
that's less. Yeah.
That's less. What's the word I'm looking for?
I know I can't think of it, but I know what I'm trying to say. But it's less intimidating. I would
There you
say.
go. It's less intimidating, and you can bring your guard down a little bit because I know you. You're a good time. You're fun. You're not judging me. You're this and that. Hey, girl, what's up? It's a great time.
And even if you're a stranger, it's still fun. Because remember, I told you the guys they hang out with, we go and they would always want to go to strip clubs, so they bring me and a couple of the girls. There was 2 or 3 girls, and it was about 3 or 4 guys. And we'd go in there, we're sitting down and we're laughing and talking. And so the ladies would come by and want to dance, and I told you, give me money, go up on stage. Well, one time I got up on the stage with a girl and I danced with her. The guys love it. She made a lot of money that
Did you
night.
get any money?
I didn't.
Well,
I
hell,
refused to
I
touch it.
wouldn't
No, I'm
dance
not
for
touching.
free.
No, because
You're
it was
there.
her night. That's what she was doing for a
Okay,
living.
but
That's
you
not
went
what I
up
was doing.
there. Okay, well
It
then.
doesn't
I got
matter.
it.
You don't work
Again,
there.
this
You
is
went
the
there to
woman
get
connection.
entertained and have
Okay, but
fun.
that's so
When
you're
you go
part of the
out and
show.
have a girls'
She's
night,
talking
when you're
about
out
part
at
of
the
the show.
club, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If you go out and to a club, to a bar somewhere, and there's dancing going on, do you expect to get paid for that?
No, because
Absolutely.
Because
It's
I
the
went there
same
for a
thing.
good time. I'm not up
You
on
went to the strip
stage.
club. You went to a
When they
gentleman's
get-
club,
when
even
they
as a
gave me- I
female,
didn't get
to
paid.
go have a good
That was my
time.
wedding.
So if the entertainer invites you to come on stage, hey, come have fun with me, this and this and that.
See, I was
Oh, well,
there.
only if I'm gonna get paid, you
Well, no, I
split
wouldn't
the tips
say
with
that,
me.
but
That's just rude.
It was to
Right.
celebrate
No.
my getting married. That's
Right.
why I was there. So I
I
just
was
sat
there.
there and I was entertained.
That's okay.
See?
I was there hanging out with
Boo.
some.
Did y'all hear her?
Boo.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
sat
Boo.
there and
I
got
just sat
What
there
am
and
I
got
supposed to
entertained.
do? Grab his
Join
crotch or
in.
something?
No.
You could have.
No, you don't have to.
No,
Ew,
you should have kissed
that's
it.
kind of gross. It's just like,
No, you
oh,
should
you've
have
been
kissed his
sweating.
crotch.
Who
No,
else
but-
touched it?
Who else
We are on a Christian stage.
Yeah, all right,
We have to keep
all right,
it.
well,
We
never
have to
mind.
keep- yeah, okay, we
But
gotta
I'm
keep
saying,
going.
when I got on stage, I danced with a lady. I didn't want her tips. I wanted her to get it. That was what she was doing for a living. I had a job, and it was fun. It was entertainment. The guys
So,
ran, they
in other
planted
words,
stage.
you have that's the question that I asked earlier. Do women have a are they desirous on the down low
Maybe.
to be a dancer? Is that in
Why
all of
not?
us?
Who doesn't?
One of my friends-
Who doesn't want to get looked at? We
One
have
of
to
my
go to
friend
break.
girls told me
Okay,
that
we're gonna hold that
Hold
thought.
on.
We'll be right
Hold
back after this short break. Please give us a call at the studio 713-789-0096, and also post your questions or your comments on our
Yeah,
live
'cause I
Facebook
want your
feed.
input,
We'll be
guys.
right back after this.
Do you get paid for that? I'm up there.
What you doing? Get your butt up there then for? Get your butt on stage.
Okay. did the background. It's did the space thing. That's like you rehearsed it or something. You know,
And I didn't. It was fun. I did not.
Why didn't you have you ever gone back? We got all this way. We can talk about this.
It's just fun hanging out with those girls.
Where is I need to get a. So a man would not want to go to.
Hell no.
They will see it. They will see it as gay. They're not doing it.
Well,
Okay, so
if I see a man
okay, we
who
gotta
actually
say it
enjoys
conversation.
going, that's what I'm gonna say is he's
Okay, but
got some
we
tendencies.
gonna-
Okay,
we're
Yeah,
gonna-
exactly.
We're gonna put it. We're gonna say.
Exactly.
And, you know, that's fine if that's what you want to do. That's the
And
way
then
you
we will
swing,
never-
but-
in the
and
minute
I'm
we
I say all
see
the
it.
time, like they say, I say all the
Enough for
time,
me.
like even women don't really like seeing dudes kiss like that.
No.
Like, honestly.
Oh, no,
I was
I
And,
think
but
you're
when,
right.
and when they see us, you
But
know,
y'all see
some
women
girls,
kissing, everybody's
everybody
excited.
like,
Why?
all right.
Why?
And then once we see it, that's all we wrote. Then you can't ever change it. You're stuck. Once you have that over your that stigma.
So what I'm trying to figure out why the
All right, you're ready to come back.
yeah okay. I thought we
Well,
were talking
you
about
said
free
that you
will.
get your tips. Like, get your money. Get your money to do it for free.
Okay.
And we are back. You're listening to the All About You show with OMG and friends. We're discussing hustle-tainment for the most part. It appears as though stripping is the new profession, and it is a hustle. And those who go to the clubs are being entertained by this, and that's what we were talking about. What were we talking about before we went to break? You were bringing up a point. And then
I don't even remember what the point
Oh,
was.
come on,
That's
you said it. I mean, you're supposed to know.
But all right,
Okay, but
I can
going
remind
back,
us.
Going back to what I said earlier, and our engineer said that basically, you know, I know the woman's body, the woman's form, and all this other stuff has always been artistic. There is something in New York right now where they are trying to make stripping artistic. And I guess there are some guidelines.
What do you mean?
which-
Make it? It is.
It already
Well,
but you
you
mean
know,
like
it
an
depends.
official?
They're just trying to
an official-
substantiate it, I guess.
Yeah, well, they're trying to
Substantiate.
validate
Official
it. They're
art
trying to
form?
validate it, but I'm just trying to figure out why do we have gentlemen's club? Why do we have LeBaron? Why do we have them?
Well, because back in the what was it, the 14th
Yeah,
century?
that- that-
they
but-
already, but that
was
started
do-
it. That was the impetus.
That was the impetus, but that's not
It was
something
a
that has
way-
to carry over.
It does.
But
Because
it's
the
a way
same
for
men
you to
want
do
the same
it.
thing. They pass
It's
down.
a way for you to, you know, let your freak out. You know,
It's passed down.
be a voyeur. You know,
Look,
whatever
that's-
it may be.
But that king is
But it's in
passing
an
it down to
acceptable
his son.
place.
His son is passing it down to his son
That's from
and
a
their
royal
friends.
level because it was always done as a ritual thing
But
for
even the-
India, and it was also done for like King Herod for his birthday.
The peasants wanted it too.
Well, obviously,
They always
knew
want.
about it.
You always want to be like royalty. Let me do.
Yeah.
I want to do what they're doing, even if
Right.
it's like, well, that's dumb. But because royalty does it, then
Well, I consider
And we're
black
still
people-
like that
I consider
now.
black
Crowd.
people royal. I consider us regal. So I don't think that. I don't know. Do we have any African?
I'm
Okay,
sure.
now we're talking regal and royal in the in our country, in the country of Africa.
In the
Do
con-
they
on the
have- do
continent,
they-
yes, sir.
Do they have?
In their kingdoms?
I've never been to Africa, so I
I'm
don't know
just saying, but
anybody
do you
who's
know-
been
do you
out
know
there.
anything
Are
about-
there
do
any
they
gentlemen's
do
clubs, strip
yeah.
clubs?
They probably
I'm
is now.
sure.
Probably is now.
I'm
But,
sure they did.
but that's
it
because
then.
of the Western influence. I don't think that they would
I,
just.
I don't think they
I don't
needed
know.
Western influence. I'm
This is
sure
why
those
we
kings
research.
had
This is why we
entertainment. They had
research.
women. They were males. They had the
they
same
had
desire.
concubines. They had
Okay,
wives,
but they
had
still
women.
had people dancing. I'm sure they
Again,
did.
it's on the level of royalty and
So
regality.
peasants wanted
That's
too.
not. No, this isn't regal. This is just. I'm just curious. This is again a conversation
Yeah.
because to me, I don't know. Some things are to be sacred. They're not necessarily to be for public consumption. That's just my opinion. Now, again,
Again,
this is
so
about money.
this is a way. This is a
about
way
money.
to be out there without getting so harshly judged or be looked at. Oh, I'm a freak. I'm this. I'm that. Because like you, people feel. Oh, well, that should be kept in the dark. That should be kept quiet. Well,
Why?
Not quiet, just in the confines. I mean, you don't do. Do you do every?
see, you say confinement, and I hear quiet. Shut
That's
it down.
the same thing.
Well, I look at personal. I look at it as intimate. I look
Right.
at it as between me and the man.
Right.
I don't look at it as being for public consumption. That's just my
Right, but
opinion.
I'm not doing anything with me and my man out in public. We're just
They do
There,
have that
you
man
know,
there
okay,
in
so
public or whatever.
why do they
yeah,
go?
called
Why
swingers
do
club.
men
So you go to a different club.
Why do men go
Right,
to strip clubs
exactly.
and have their woman with them if you're not turned on or aroused by it? Because all of this is to perpetuate arousal. Period.
Yeah.
So when you leave there, then what? Or do you go in the back, or what
No, when
happens?
they leave
Is
there,
There is
VIP
no
room?
sex
You ever
in
been
the
to-
champagne room, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know.
That's
Again, this is my
prostitution.
conversation.
It depends on what state you're
And do
in. You have to
believe that
know the
there's
laws.
no constitution
Laws of
based
that
on the
state.
fact that
Again, you have to know what laws
where
of
you
the
like-
city, of your county,
county,
of your
your
state.
state, right.
There's different rules for different
Things.
states.
I get that.
Some people, it's a no touch. I mean, at one of the places that I worked at, we had guests that would come in. They're from out of town. Hey, how does it work here? What are the rules? Oh, they
Yeah.
can touch.
Well, I tell
Can
you
we?
that
You
gotta
know,
ask
we
the
can
rules
only go up
first.
stage,
Right.
and we have to stay so far away from the
That's the
entertainers.
etiquette. The
Oh, they
etiquette.
come to they actually come to your tables. Okay, it depends on what state you're from.
Because the more I
Every
res-
place is different.
The more I research, the
Now, when
gentleman's-
people go home, that's their private. Then they do it private, like you're saying.
Then the real fun
Then
begins.
the real thing. then that's you and your man. This is you're
but you
out
go
having
there to
fun.
get aroused, and then you
But
go
you're
home.
gonna
Or you're
an
just there to have a
entertainer.
good
You're having your
time.
business
Y'all
meeting.
getting all
Just
swole.
like you
Why y'all
said.
getting all swole? I mean, I did the research.
business
I'm asking
meeting.
you.
Well, because you keep throwing everything sexual out there. Oh, well, it's to get aroused. It's no.
That's what this, from a biblical standpoint,
At-
it
at
was
that
done
time.
for arousal.
at that
Sex
time.
hasn't
That's what.
changed since.
No, but just because I go to a gentleman's club or I go somewhere where people are dancing provocatively, that doesn't mean that
That doesn't.
I'm warming myself up. It's pregame time.
Okay,
You know,
so
no.
what are you going for? It's
Hey, yeah,
not.
like I just want to throw one thing in there. Like when I first went to the strip club, it was with my cousins, my older cousins,
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't for an arousal thing. It was just like a
They were
step in the,
introducing
it
you
was
to
like
the
step
game.
into manhood.
They were
basically.
introducing
Yeah,
you
right.
to
That's
the
what I'm saying. That's how you pass
So
it down.
we just there for a good time,
Okay.
you know. And I know
And
a
so
lot of
Archie,
girls
he's
like
gonna
that
take your
also
son.
who just like want to hang out with you and do what you do and be around you and then have fun with each other at the strip club. Because I know girls who say I want to go to the strip club and throw some ones and have fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. I think if I go with my group of guys, it's fun. You know, it's a good time. It's to see them,
Yeah.
relax, just have a good time. We're just, high side with each other, just, shooting the breeze, whatever. And then there's, they're like, okay, well, let's see a different side of you. Oh, okay, cool. Daydream's gonna come. We're having a good time. You like to have a good time. It doesn't matter what atmosphere you're in, what environment you're in. If you're gonna have fun, you're gonna have fun. And then of course it's just something different. Like I said, when I'm not there to I want to see these women take their clothes off because I'm revving myself up.
We don't know.
No,
what you're
I'm
there
not
for, but that
attracted.
happens.
Yeah, oh, absolutely,
Yes,
that
it
happens
happens.
anywhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not
That
saying
can happen anywhere, but that just because it's in a gentleman's club doesn't mean that's exactly what's going to happen. No. Now, if you go to a swingers club,
That's different.
then you can
that's-
expect that you need to participate in one way
That
or
is
another.
just an extension
Okay.
of this.
But the swingers
the
club
rules
is
are
the next
different.
step.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's the
another
next
Very
step.
different rules.
Now, just like when I told you I went with friends, guy friends that I knew that I hung out with, we were all in the same profession at the time, and we would, they'd have house parties. I said, well, come on, Silky, let's go on over. And I had never been, so I wanted to see. So me and his girlfriend and one of the other friend girls, about 3 of us went, and we went over there, and they were dancing, and the music was going, and the guys were smoking the cigars, and we were passing cigars around, and so they did. So, and they would tell us to go up and tip them, and yes, we would tip them. And one time I did get on stage, and I danced with a young lady. We did like a flip, and then give a little peck on her breast, and the guys poured money out there for her. She said, thank you so much, and I told her she was beautiful, and to keep doing a good job, and I got off stage, and that was her money. I didn't want it. That was hers.
So did you want to dance quietly? Is that what did you have a desire?
Well, I did, so I got
This
on
is
stage.
Silky. I was going to say, this is Silky. So
I know,
yes.
yeah, you had
That's
to
right,
That's
the
all I was
silk.
asking. I just want you
I
to
wanted to
get the
practice
fact.
the lily. Yes.
Thank
That's
you,
right,
everyone.
okay.
Thank you, everyone who's been tuning in. Rochelle, I guess there's a conversation going on. I must have missed it. Okay, here we go.
Y'all need to let us know what's happening.
Yeah,
What's your
absolutely.
opinion?
Thank you,
Right.
everyone who's been tuning in. Rochelle says men started in the 19th century when they were paid to show off their bodies, but in the 70s is when the co-ed stripping became about. She also said, I used to have couples come to see me when I was a dancer. That's how they kept their sex life fun. Men's clubs are all the women have to wear dresses. For example, Treasures, which is a local club
I
here in
remember- I
Houston.
know what Treasures
Treasures wants long, elegant dresses.
See, that's what I'm
Um,
talking about.
as dancers, she says, we like women customers more. Laugh out loud. Annabelle Lee, thank you for tuning in.
Thank
Also, women can appreciate women's bodies without being creepy or making the dancers feel uncomfortable. Thank you. I feel the same way.
Right.
You know, I agree. Totally agree with that.
Well, thank you for the
Rochelle,
comment.
evidently, it says, okay, Demetrius says men have that complex. Men have the fear of being labeled as homophobic. Rochelle's response is why, as a man, why is it okay for women to go see female dancers, but men are ashamed if they can go with their girls to see a male show?
That's what this-
You know, absolutely. And yes, Joe is correct. There's places called brothels, so there's difference. Again, there's
Brothels
no
are totally
sex.
different thing, is it
Absolutely,
not?
different law. You can't have that here in the state of Texas.
Right.
You know,
We know that they
we had
are.
a chicken
You
ranch
know
out in
they
the
are.
range.
Chicken
Yeah,
ranch, right.
absolutely. Houston, there's a 3-foot law. It has evolved, and it's for entertainment now, as in regards to gentlemen's clubs and the dancing.
Okay.
And a swingers club is not the same as gentlemen's club. Swingers
What kind of-
clubs,
oh,
no
swingers.
one is getting paid.
Oh, yeah, they're just
You're
swinging.
paying to be there,
On the
and
circuit, yeah.
you know,
And those are people who like to have group sex and have sex
I was
with their
going to say,
friends.
this is almost like
That's
the
a swinger.
Romans when you just had sex
With
in
your friends and you like group
bathhouses
sex.
and
Yeah,
all this
that's a
other stuff.
swingers club.
Yeah.
That's different.
Wow.
And-
But if men go to, let's say La Bear, then they would be pretty much
Bored.
labeled
I've
as,
been
no, they
out
would be
bored.
labeled as gay.
They would probably be concerned about that. They don't want to go see a naked guy. They just straight men just don't. I've heard straight guys say that. I said, why?
Well, you do have gay men out
They're
there. You
just
have LGBT. out
Okay,
there,
well then
so
maybe those guys.
I'm
will
just
be there.
saying. So you do
But
have
the straight
some that may
guy-
go there.
I've had too many straight guy friends that I'm sickened by looking at some other dude. I don't want to see him.
and then you have some females
He
who are
said it's
sickened by
sickened.
looking at other female forms, or
I'm
you know
not
how they.
sickened by it, not at all.
A straight
I think
man
the
is.
female body, I think the body period, male and female, is
Yeah.
beautiful. God designed it, so it's perfect
Right.
in all its forms. So I agree with that. It's just that I'm a little bit more reserved and. That's just me.
Reserved,
but see, again, I'm one of those people. I would like the gowns. I'm more the elegant. I'm not just
Okay,
trying
so
to
what you
take
want to
all
do is
my-
go to a
all
gentleman's
this,
club.
and
You don't want to go to the strip club.
No,
You
I just
definitely
rather-
don't want to go to the butt naked.
No, I would-
But,
I
oh my
would-
gosh, can you imagine?
Y'all know I
Can you
couldn't
imagine?
handle that.
You have a mask and a hat on.
Y'all
What's
would
the-
get
oh,
me.
it's really
You
gonna
would
be
just
okay.
get
Y'all would
disgusted.
have to send an Uber to come get me. Y'all go get OMG because she is tripped out in the car.
I'm like, we gotta go. She's embarrassing
But you know,
us.
one
We
thing I
can't
can't
bring her out like this.
Give women their props because being in strip clubs does precipitate your being in good shape. And a lot of these women have nice, healthy bodies as a result of pole dancing.
Not necessarily,
Well,
man.
Well,
Okay,
Every man likes something else, something different. Just some men
Okay,
love
so are there big women?
big chested.
Yes.
Yes.
See, I don't know.
Big girls.
You got the big girls
It's got rolls
club.
and stuff.
Rolls and you
What?
name it. Pockets.
And
Dimples,
she said
cellulite.
Dang, really?
And
Every
men love it.
man
Okay,
likes. So
so-
there's something for everyone. There's no
Okay,
lie in
because
that.
I asked somebody that the other day. I forgot who I was talking to.
She's like, what?
No, I asked somebody that the other day, and they were like, "I don't think the big girls have a." I'm like, "Sure,
They probably
because
make
you
more
have,
money than
but
the
you have
Simpsons.
men who like big, beautiful women."
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
You know, so
There's
that's what
actually
I
an
thought.
argument.
Yeah, and I agree, Annabelle Lee. I don't want to see naked men. It's so boring. It's not fun. I have a lot more fun in a gentleman's club than I did ever at La Bear's. And I've been on stage at La Bear's before. It's my birthday. I had a great time. You know, but okay. All right. You know, now let's go to another club. You know, it is fun. You know, if we go out, hey, it's a group night. Let's all go, hey, let's hit up the strip club. They got happy hour. They got great buffets. You can get a great steak.
I was going to say, the
You
steaks
can
are
get a
good.
great steak around
food.
here.
I'm vegan,
You know,
I'm
some
vegan.
awesome tacos.
I like meat. I guess I'm
You
not
get a
fat.
nice salad on
But
it.
you know,
Yeah.
I do think that, as I mentioned earlier, not all clubs accept women.
Right.
So, and as
The
I put
ones
in the
that
book, there are rules. So when you go in,
Absolutely.
it's like going into the cigar bars. You have to know what the rules are, and
Right.
the rules is the etiquette.
Right.
So you do have.
All right here, folks.
Yeah, I
You
have
need to
all
get
that
this
covered
book.
because I was all tripped out when I was kind of researching that. It just kind of tripped me out that, you know, that basically I would give you advice on if you give a woman $5, she's not going to do much. But I think a lap dance is like $20 or something like that. She'll pay
Minimum.
more.
The minimum.
Minimum. Okay.
And that's
Here.
only fair.
Well,
Here,
I'm just
the
saying,
prices are
yeah,
different
I mean,
everywhere.
just have-
Right,
just
the
have
prices
Prices
that
are different
yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
Wow.
Prices.
Yeah, so Steven, you're absolutely correct. He says looking good don't equate to healthy. Very true.
That is very,
Thank you,
that
Steven.
is very true. It's just some of the research that says maintaining a healthy body. No one
She
can
said it didn't shake me or
can
whatever.
deny the incredibly practiced pole dancing, which comes. You know, Amazon sells a pole.
Right, you
Okay?
can get one for your house.
Right. So I do believe
So does
that.
Smooches and some other places around
Do they?
here.
I do
Absolutely.
believe that. You know, I'm an exercise, but I do believe that pole dancing is a good exercise. I would think.
They have pole dancing classes. That became like a real big thing, and I went a few times, and it is a lot of fun, and it's very comfortable. The one that I went to, it takes a lot of upper body strength. I have none.
You have to hold, right.
You know, the way you hold yourself
Yeah.
posing.
It's not easy.
You know,
You're
no,
do
not
that.
at all. And it was very comfortable in that spot because they dimmed the lights. It was all females. There was no mirrors anywhere. And that is done with a purpose. It's so
You don't get
we're
fearful.
absolutely we're constantly criticizing
our
ourselves
bodies
and
and
looking at each
ourselves.
other. So we don't have a way to criticize. Oh, if I move like this, oh that doesn't look. No, get out of your own head and just go with what feels right. And the instructor, she showed us. She was, at the end, you can pick your own routine or do something, and you can invite a guest if you choose to do so. And she had been doing that for at least 8-9 years, if I remember correctly at the time. And she said not at any time during ever had she seen herself while she was dancing or while she did a routine. She said she won't look in the mirror, and she refuses to at this point because she knows how she feels and looks in her mind. And so that's what translated. And she did a hell of a job. I mean, from what she did to some of the entertainers that I've seen on stage, it's like she needs to be on stage. And she really sold it. And she
And had
was
never been in a
she
mirror.
she was in a long sleeve shirt because it was during the cool season. She was in a long sleeve workout shirt and had on sweatpants.
Well, different things are
You know?
sexy. It doesn't always have to be a naked body.
Right.
Doesn't always have to be a skimpy clothing. I think.
Right. I wondered what people wore, but they just wear maybe something like exercise clothes.
What to that
Yeah,
to that
because
class?
they
They
have to
said
stretch,
wear what's comfortable. Some chicks were in there in shorts.
yeah.
Some were in booty shorts.
I
I was
know
in
they
had booty
pants.
shorts
You
on.
know.
Oh, okay.
I was in workout clothes,
Yeah.
because that's in my mind that's what I was there for because I was going to work, there for a workout
it
and
is
let
a
me learn
workout.
some extra stuff, So it's really cool. And then again, just like when you're at a gentleman's club and you're watching the stage or watching someone off to the side during a lap dance, I was looking. Oh, okay. I never would have thought about that move. Oh, okay, that looks sexy. Let me see if that's something I can do. Or no, my back hurts. I can't do that, but I can do
I
this.
can do something.
I got some injuries.
She said my back hurts.
You can do that one. But I wonder if there's any sort of do women dance because of daddy issues? These are all things that I ran across in research. That there are also psychological effects of women dancing. I don't know what that could be, but
I don't know. I'll argue that. I
Or
think
could it-
maybe
or
some
could it-
people, and maybe it's just a choice. Maybe
Or
something
could it
somebody
also
wants to do.
be that you've had some women that have been molested or touched as children, and they like the attention that sex brings to them, or sexual teasing?
Sure.
Or whatever?
Anybody, daddy issues, mommy issues, abandonment, sexual abuse, sexual assault.
We've all got something.
Oh, I have
That
drama.
all translates in any career. You
So
have
if that
people.
person's an executive, they could still have the same issues, and if they're a dancer,
Absolutely.
the same thing.
So, have y'all? I've talked about this before, but there's a Netflix show called Bonding, and it's about a chick who she's a dominatrix, and she ends up bringing her gay best friend as security / her partner, because she's going to people's homes or to their offices, wherever she's meeting them at,
But yeah.
So she's like, okay, well, I just need an extra person there, just as added, security. She works in a club, and then of course she also does private events.
That's
But
probably
she
big money
is studying.
for
Oh,
parties.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So she, in the show, she's a college student. She's actually studying psychology, and that gets brought out in one of her classes. They have to. One of their final projects for that professor was they needed to explain why they're choosing to go into that profession.
Well, that's what I said. It's a psychological thing. And what was some of the?
Yeah, so one girl was very artificial, saying, I want to help people. I do this, I do that, and it stemmed from her very first pet, which was a goldfish that died, and so she, she was one of them people.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so the girl, the dominatrix, she was sexually abused at a very
I'm
young
gonna say
age,
because it has to be,
and that's all she had known. But she brings that out, and that was part of her.
and that's part of her power.
Her
is
therapy.
to come
Absolutely.
back and do that.
She's a
Right.
dominatrix now. She's the one in control,
in
and she
control.
can decide what
Right.
goes and what doesn't. But on that note, we do have to go on another break. We'll be right back.
Okay, and then I'll go.
You have some shout outs to do.
Richard Black Radio Network, where conversations lead to real change.
Yes, so yeah, absolutely. I know her. I met her working at the club. But that's what she did. She said that she couldn't wait until she was 18 to start dancing. You know,
That's what I
she's
said.
got daughters now, so she has a very different
Take on that.
take. You know, but
Can you bring up?
yeah,
You're
absolutely.
able to bring up the mother and the daughter. You know,
Mhm. Yeah,
previous
absolutely.
dancer having a daughter, because what we did or had to do at a time, you don't necessarily want your children to do. So I'm
Right.
just curious. So remember, bring that.
Right,
Right,
absolutely.
that is.
Okay.
That
You,
is
you want to read
interesting.
the shout?
Well, I just have one person we didn't mention. He just popped in. But that's
Well,
that's
clearly-
pretty cool that a person says I'm going to use this as therapy, and I'm going to decide what happens. Somebody was deciding what happened to me, and now I'm about to decide what happens to you, the dominatrix.
You know, I used to have a store, and I don't know what's the name, because it was up the street from schools.
Alright, you ready to come back?
You want to bring us back in, Sophie?
10 seconds.
And we are.
I said 10 seconds.
Just kidding.
Right,
See,
so-
psych. Yes, psych.
Wait for the music.
Got you. And we are back with the All About You show with OMG and friends. I am Silky Smooth, and we have with us.
OMG, naturally.
And Daydream.
That's right. We are here to talk about the things you think about and some things you don't.
So you had some people that
Yeah, Brian
shout out.
Kearney Trop. Kearney, he just stopped in and he's watching us and he's listening and he's thinking about this stripping thing. So feel free to make a comment
Please
to
do.
us, Brian. What is your perspective on the stripping profession as a real, true, long-term career?
Well, you know, stripping does make a lot of money. Strippers
Absolutely,
make a lot of money.
and I'm so
there's
glad
a
you s-
financial.
I'm so glad you
Yeah,
said that
wherever
because
it's
Joe, you're absolutely correct. He says, could it be that the money is good? Some of these girls make 6 figures. Yes, they do.
Well, they make $100,000
And he goes,
a
I
year
know
if
a
they're
girl,
good, right?
I know a girl who's a dancer, and she makes close to $200,000 a year, and she has a degree. She dances because it pays more than the degree that she has. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
There is a lot
Lot of money.
of education in those clubs and on that stage. There is a lot of education.
Yes,
Some
I
of them
don't
are still
judge.
paying off student loans. You have some women, because of the oil and gas crisis.
That slowed down, so they're taking jobs. Well, that's true.
So there's
it's a
no
hustle.
there's
Whether
absolutely
it's
there
part-time or
it's
full-time,
supply
it's
and
still a
demand.
hustle.
You know, they can't go into their field. So in the meantime, they still have bills and everything else that need to get paid. So let me go into the club during the daytime. You know, it's a lot more calm in some places. Let me have good conversation. Let me get paid for my conversation instead of being at home on Facebook having
nothing.
ignorant
Yeah,
conversations.
exactly.
You know.
And not getting paid for it.
Well, that's true.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dorian, for tuning in. He's a first time listener. He
Oh,
says,
my gosh.
I'm loving this conversation. I'm listening and learning.
Okay.
Thank you. We're so glad.
That's what this is about. It's entertainment,
That's
right?
right.
Anybody else? Okay, and another thing that we have, you know, again, it bolsters your self confidence, I think, to be on stage, to be able to do this, walk out, be confident, hold,
No matter what
hold
your
the
size.
attention, no matter what the size.
No matter what your
you know,
size.
but I'm just curious because I think I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and they told me, oh no, the big girls, they don't have, you know.
Oh, they're
Yes, they
wrong.
And I was like, they have to.
They
You
have to.
can't
There's
just-
someone for everyone.
Right,
You have
you have
midget
men.
clubs. You have,
Yeah.
I mean, think about all the different types of porn
Midget
that are out
clubs.
there.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
So you can't say, oh no, there's
Yeah,
there's
well,
not a place for that.
I
Yes,
argued
there
that
is.
down. I'm like, I'm sure because I know you have men out there that like big women. So there
And
has to
men
be
like
a market.
midgets.
So is there a specific strip club for the big girls or BBW?
Yes.
Beautiful black women?
Yes.
No, it's big, beautiful women.
Same
That's
thing.
anybody.
Same thing.
But you said black. But
Okay,
I'm saying
well,
they're
yeah.
white too.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I'm not going to give the name. I'm not.
Oh no, I'm just
You
saying.
know, but yes, absolutely. There is a club. And matter of fact, someone that I know, that's how I found out about it. She was going through
Financial,
some things.
like-
Okay.
Like we all.
Yeah, and then you do what you have to do. So she went to an amateur night, and she rocked it, and she continued to rock it every week. So
Well,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
big girls, you know, they love themselves just like we love ourselves, and I
That's
think
right.
that there should be something for them. That's why when I asked the question,
I mean,
Men love
think
them
about
too.
if anybody saw the what was the BET Awards? Lizzo was on there. She came out in all white and a
Wedding dress and
lingerie and the she didn't have the garter belt on, but she had the snaps. Absolutely. So she was rocking the stage because she was confident in who she is and how she looks.
Well, that's why I
Other
said
people
it
were
fosters
making people were making
self-confidence.
comments about everything else, but it's like you're having to knock her. Why?
Yeah, that's true.
Just because you feel that bad about yourself, you think that little of yourself that you have to bring somebody else
Well,
down.
we talked about that as well. Now, what about the drug side?
Okay, everything has a
Drugs
drug
are
side.
anywhere, especially
Everything
but
has a drug
sales.
side.
Well, I mean the nightlife. You have a nightlife. You have women dancing, and that's usually the introduction for someone who's probably a neophyte, who now goes into a club, and you're trying to stay up and do your thing, and here comes somebody with a line of cocaine to keep you dancing and keep you going. So,
Or
I don't know if all
or
of
you're
them
having a
have
drink
this. I'm just-
because you're trying to relax. You have to go up. Say, I don't want to be here and do this, but I'm doing this because I have to.
and so
So let
need
me
that boost.
Let
to
me
just-
think about it. How we all are when we have a drink. Okay, let me just relax. Let me have this this drink and relax.
Yes.
It works the same way, except when you have to continue to do that every single day, every
You
single
have
night.
to continuously be up to do it.
Or to do some things that you don't want to do, but the money's right.
Right, then aren't there some clubs that have activities in the back? And maybe
There
not
are.
Houston, but Vegas and some of these other places.
Oh, for sure.
Houston feel like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's
This
places
is night-
everywhere.
At night there's a whole nother. The freaks come out at night, so it's a lot.
Well,
going on at
definitely.
night.
You have some places where you'll have girls, ladies. Please don't take offense to the word that I'm using,
Yeah.
but they'll say, hey, I only dance during the day because it's a lot more calmer. It's a different crowd. It's a
It's
more
not a
mature
rowdy
crowd, not
yeah,
rowdy.
Yeah.
On Saturday nights is when you have, Fridays, Thursdays through Fridays, you have those, guys are there to party,
Butt
after
wild.
parties.
Butt
They're there to
wild,
just
yeah.
get,
Get crunk.
frat guy
Right.
trash,
Get crunk.
wasted. So
Get crunk.
not everyone has the patience for that, but it's fun. The money's good. Even as a bartender and as a waitress, some of those nights you have to get your mind right. Like, okay, let's get ready for this nonsense that's about to happen, but the money's going to be right.
The nonsense.
And
right.
that's probably coming. And growing up in your younger years, I guess clubbing has always been a nice time. So
Yeah, I can't do clubs anymore.
I can't do one.
I'm cool. I'm cool with the Jonas Club, the
Depends on what
pregame. Let's have a
kind
drink. Let's go hang out. This and that. Okay, cool. Now let's go to a bar.
I gotta be skybox. I
I
gotta
don't
be
want-
skybox where I can just hang out and stuff.
Oh well, we have clubs in Houston that have skyboxes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm more of that.
You would definitely enjoy.
Now you have people like Cardi B and Nene Leakes that were strippers.
That's them ratchet girls.
Okay, is that what it is? Okay, I was gonna ask.
Like you said, they were strippers.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sure Cardi B was also at the butt naked.
I can see
That's her. That's who she is. That's her.
That's the way she.
And
Her level-
but
her
the young
level
girls
is-
are idolizing this girl. So my concern is you are an influencer at this point. You are influencing a whole bunch of girls that may consider.
Yeah, she has a daughter now.
right, but see that may okay. So let's go with where
She
that
has
would
a
take
daughter.
us.
I'm curious to see where she's
Where
going to
she's
go
gonna
with
go
that
with
and
that.
how she's going to act. I mean, has anyone who's followed her for a long time have y'all noticed the difference
Has-
with how she's acted, like who she was when she was on Instagram to her being Cardi B that we have, Cardi
See,
B
I
now.
remember her once. I was watching. I was at somebody's house, and see, I don't do reality TV, and I think she was on
If
Hip
from Love and Hip
Atlanta
Hop,
or something
yeah.
like that, and she was crass then. So I've never really paid much attention to her, but apparently out of nowhere she just kind of blew up. And my concern, again, the reason for having a show such as this is you have young girls who idolize Cardi B
Right.
and Nene Leakes and all these other, and it's probably more in.
But that's where again parenting comes into play,
Well, who's
and
parenting? The
unfortunately
parents probably
they're
raise
getting fewer and fewer far between.
That's
The
not-
parents are
the
at the
parents in
strip
the
club.
damn club.
The
right,
parents
right.
are the stripper. They're
But
very
we well, and there's nothing. I don't see anything wrong with a female if you're a mother now and that's what you did before. Again, we don't know everyone's story. I've thank God, I've never been hungry. Okay, I've never been homeless. So I don't know what
What
I
that
would
would make
do,
you do.
and how far I would need to go in order to provide a roof for myself,
Right.
or if I have another mouth to feed. Because I'll be
You do
Yeah,
what you
damn,
do. You do what
if-
you have. If that
absolutely,
child's not
yeah.
right,
You know, and I'm thinking about my niece, and it's like, what would I do if she were hungry? Well, I've had that phone call. You know, can you please come get me? I'm hungry. So I know how that feels.
to a
So,
mother.
you know, so
yeah.
I can just imagine. So I'm not going to sit there and judge any female. If you did whatever it is that you had to do for whatever it is that you needed, you know, we've all done things at certain points in our life
Because you had to. Not
because we
you
had
wanted
to, or at the time we didn't see any other way. You know, obviously in hindsight, everything we all would all do something different.
Yeah,
you know?
because hindsight is 20/20. But
Absolutely.
it's just
The
like what
vision
you
is perfect.
said.
The vision
I've
is
never
perfect.
been in that situation, but if I had a family, you know, maybe I would. You know, but see, I am my only family since I'm the only one. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's different.
I am
But-
as well. I mean,
Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
plenty
right,
of times
I
my
am my
mom,
family.
you know, told us, she was, times were real hard when we were growing up, you know, them working multiple jobs. She
Yeah.
was like, and even then, it felt like we weren't going to make it. She was like, but I wasn't going to have y'all hungry or anything else. She goes, as a mother, she goes, I'd sell myself if that's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Well, I think a mom
I
will do
would.
anything. Just about
Absolutely.
anything for their
Sure.
children.
You know, and we have listeners. You're absolutely right, Dorian. He says you can't knock anyone's hustle if you don't
Absolutely.
walk in their shoes. Absolutely.
That's why it's called hustletainment.
Absolutely. So one of our listeners, you know, she's a mother now, and at the time, I remember her and I having a conversation, and she's saying that when she was younger, she couldn't wait until she turned 18 so she could get out into the clubs and start dancing and make her money, and she had trash bags of money on a night, you know, at every night, you know, but it was trash bags of money that would come out. So, you know, you get to, for some people,
You get the habit of
you're
making
used to
that
having that
money.
lifestyle, you know,
Yeah.
you ran through that money fast because you knew you were going to make it fast. Okay, give me a few hours tonight. Let me make that money. That's not a big deal. Oh, I got a $2,000 mortgage. Okay, well, let me work
go
tonight,
clock this
tomorrow, real quick, or let
Yeah.
me go, you know, take off early from this job over here and go work on stage and let me do what I need to do. But you know, she's a mother now, and there's no way that she would allow any of her daughters
To do that.
to do that. You know, she's like, because they don't
Well, they
need
have
to.
more opportunities now than what we had
Absolutely.
at that point. But let me give you 14 facts you probably never knew about strippers. 92% of strippers are women, and 60% of all strippers see it as an extra job and have other jobs that they work at during the daytime. Surveys show that 86% of people see stripping as a legitimate career, whereas the remaining ones see them as whores.
Right.
Canadian people are having a hard time finding strippers. So if you want to go
to
Oh,
Canada.
hey, there you go.
Right,
Supply and
just
demand
gave you a
Canada.
job, okay? Strippers who get breast implants can deduct it as a business expense and save on their taxes.
Sure you can, and those with the fake booties, no
All
matter
that.
how bad the job is, I've seen
They
some
can-
terrible jobs.
Okay, interestingly enough, they make the most money when they are ovulating. Now, this really,
Ooh, that makes sense. Our animal
Tell 'em.
instinct.
I know.
The scent, everybody's
the
pheromones. So
the
yeah,
pheromones
absolutely.
kick in. So I thought that was quite
Makes
kind of
total
interesting.
sense.
And then a study from Leeds University showed that most strippers belong to middle class families. 8 out of 9 strippers would recommend their job to their friends. And a stripper can make more than $100,000 a year. And 1 out of 5 females and 3 out of 4 male strippers have dated their clients.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But I think all this is cool as long as you don't, you know, at one point, you remember Cardi B was doping men, you know, like that roofer,
Roofing,
yeah, and
you
then
know.
drugging them and then doing
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Really quickly, again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Dorian says money is more addictive than any drug. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
Joe
there.
says, in closing, you will learn a lot about men in strip clubs, who they choose to pin $1 on in the club. I've seen some cowboys that you would never think would associate themselves with black or
women.
Latin women. This is so true.
I can believe that.
And spend big money on them. Okay, and
Well,
I'm
that's
telling you,
their
ladies, the
fantasy.
secret life of men. You're that's true. And he says you can get what you can't have, and other people's perception of you.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you for those comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, Image chapter 14 talks about gentlemen's clubs. I
Absolutely,
suggest
I do.
you get the book downloaded in the Kindle format or get the paperback on Amazon.com, and you can learn all about gentlemen's club etiquette. So before you go in there, know before you go.
Know what the rules
Also,
are.
today's show was brought to you by Image. I make a great employee, executive, entrepreneur, professional etiquette training, where life skills meet social graces. Please go to www.yourbizimage.com. That's www.yourbizzimage.com for more information, and Amazon.com. And check out the Manners Maven, Marian Gath.
Now, before we leave, next week we're going to talk. July is the Minority Mental Health Month, so we're going to have our psychologist, Dr. Ebony Butler,
Okay.
come in and talk about that. So, until next time, guys, we will see you on the radio.
All right. Have a good week. Thank you for tuning in.
I'm surprised I didn't